So we are now live on Facebook. Yay. Miracles of the internet. I love it. So welcome everybody. Avaya here, welcoming Indu Arora, our record holder for Jivamaya Yoga Wisdom Talks. This is Indu's third time, and this is just so delightful because we're going to share her brand new ebook called SOMA, 100 recipes, 100 heritage recipes, right, for self-care. And the word recipe actually comes from the Latin word recipere, I think it is, which means to receive. And that's exactly what you do with this book. You receive so much enthusiasm, so much knowledge. It's awesome. Before we get going, I do want to say that Indu has a workshop coming up in January 27th through the 31st on chakras. So those beautiful, subtle things that the medical world says does not exist, we know they do. So we want to learn all about the chakras. That would be an amazing workshop for sure. And then Shavasana in March 3rd through the 7th. So I'll be posting all of that when I do upload this. And meanwhile, let's welcome Indu back to Jivamaya Yoga Wisdom Talks. We are in Minneapolis, right? Is it snowing there?
Not yet.
Yes.
Please accept my greetings, Abby. And it's wonderful to be back. Wonderful to be back on third time. And a very warm greetings to all those who are watching now or those who might watch later on. And yes, from Minneapolis, it's cold. And no, it's not snowing today.
All right, excellent. I know the East Coast is getting it, so maybe it's going to be heading your way. Who knows? We'll see. So the topic for this month is going to be aging. And it's not necessarily, when we talk about aging, we're really talking about when does aging actually begin? And it begins actually at conception. So that's our aging really is not just talking about somebody who is already in their 60s or 70s or 80s. It's the whole process of what happens with aging. And one of the things that is so important with aging, as we move from day to day, hour to hour, is to take care of ourselves. And Indu is here to help us understand this. And we're going to share some of the recipes. This book is so awesome. I got so enthusiastic because you could feel the joy that Indu had when she was writing this. You could feel how excited she was to be able to share the stories from her youth and all of these recipes that have been with her and in her life, which you can see. I mean, look at the face, it's just glowing. So without further ado, let's move into this. And perhaps we can start our conversation with recipe number 7, which is about Shandi, I believe. And Kriya, is it Shandi? Kriya Shandi, Kala Shandi. Yeah, is that correct? Am I pronouncing it correctly? All right. Because I think that's where we begin.
I think, I hope it's okay to go back go back a step. Take a step back and, just take a moment to address, to pause and reflect that when we talk about aging, it is important that we think about what kind of aging are we talking about? Are we talking about biological aging, which is a number? Are we talking about mental aging, which means seasoning of the mind? It does not mean so much of, something being taken away. It may mean almost like, filtering, being able to filter, discern, and being able to have a certain point of view towards life that only happens by going through it and by having that experience of it. So I think one thing that I would like to just put a thought before us, that when we talk about aging, we most of the time only talk about the physical aging, or we talk about that aspect of aging that should either be arrested, harnessed, polished. But the word aging is so beautiful, Abby. It means the word aging comes from the process of maturing, the process of becoming wiser. So the concept of anti-aging doesn't sit well with me because, wisdom takes a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of courage. So there is no way I want to, anti that. But I really also understand the value of this body. And I'm coming towards that point number 7, or the recipe number 7 that you're pointing us towards in SOMA. it's this body that we are given. It's a responsibility. We cannot take it for granted that yes, it is aging, it is natural. Yes, graying of the hairs is natural. Yes, the wrinkling is natural. Yes, with age, the digestion is affected. All these things are affected, but it's a responsibility to take care of it. We cannot turn a blind eye towards it. It's so in that light, there is this value of observation. If we do not, I think that aging is not at times the way it is looking. I'm not saying you are viewing it this way or the ones who are watching it like right now are viewing it this way. But at times, I think it's worth giving a thought that at times aging is understood as something as if it's a condition, as if it's something that needs to be fixed. On the other side, it's just the most natural thing that can happen to us. In Ayurveda, the Sanskrit word for body is sharira. And the definition of the word sharira is shiryate iti sharira, which means that which is bound to disintegrate is body. So right in the beginning, the expectations are set right that the body, as you also mentioned, that we start aging right at the conception, that this body is bound, it is designed to integrate. So instead of trying to hold on, how can we walk along with it? And that walking along can happen by this practice that I learned from my teacher. It is called sandhi, observation of sandhi. And sandhi means that meeting point which in the macrocosmic cycle is dawn, dusk, midday, midnight. And the other is the full moon, new moon, the phases of the moon, or the equinox, or the seasons, anything which when one meets the other. And in the same way in our body, according to the Vedic point of view, our whole life is divided into 4 stages. But let's forget about that moment to moment observation. And if we cannot do moment to moment observation, how about we do 2 kinds of observation? Kala Sandhi and Kriya Sandhi. Kala means time. At the time when you wake up and at the time when you go to bed. Can we, instead of getting into the idea of the things to do, take a moment and observe, be a witness to that shift that's happening. And Kriya Sandhi is when you are moving from one task to another. Kriya means activity. So when you are moving from one thing to another, can you just observe the process instead of getting so much stuck in it, so much attached to it? So see if we can bring that value of observation in life. And then life can become more, not just beneficial, full of essence.
Beautiful. Yay. And once we've observed, there may be that moment when we look in the mirror and we go, oh, I've got to do something with this face. And I know that recipe number 12 is called probiotic for the naughty skin or food for the skin. And I really wanted to mention this because it's beautiful and it's really awesome. You also have something that's a recipe, I think that was number 30, which kind of talked about the true assessment. How is the body fared? Especially right now with these 9 months that we've been through, maybe really looking very clearly, not just outward, but inward, how has this body survived? How have I aged? What is it? I mean, have I physically aged in the sense, is there more gray hair? Is there more grief in my face? Is there more anxiousness in my face? That sort of feeling of really understanding where we are at this point, but then giving ourselves this beautiful treat of these recipes, which we'll go through, of just self-care, and there's nothing more valuable and I was introduced to Abhyanga when I was really sick about 20 years ago, it was a whole new life opened up for me. Just that beautiful self-touch, the self-care, it's exquisite. So where do you want to go from here? Should we talk about the naughty skin, or do you want to talk about a true assessment and really understanding where we are, how we do that, and then moving on from there?
Mm-hmm. How about we start from the idea of self-care?
Beautiful.
Self-care, we owe that to ourselves. We cannot keep taking out from our body, from our emotions, from our mind, from every breath that is going away. We cannot just keep doing that. We have to give back to ourselves. It's a responsibility. It's something we owe. That is why, now, if we look at Ayurvedic texts, the first chapter of most of the text starts with self-care, by paying attention to this seasonal changes, this taking care of the diurnal care, the solar care, the solar routines, the lunar routines. It's important that we understand self-care as something that we do on an everyday basis, and not something that we do once in a while by taking a vacation, once in a while by going off the grid, once in a while by switching off the cell phone, which is great. If that is where our starting point is, it's great. Or once in a while having a spa night. But it's important that we understand self-care is an attitude. It's something that we owe to the body. And this is how it starts. And even in yoga, the first tenet of yoga is ahimsa. And in another way of understanding it is kindness. And another way of interpreting that is not just being kind to others, but being kind to yourself too. And, this is just one of there is this beautiful verse, which is also a mantra. And this is one of the mantra that was given to me at the age of 15 by one of my earliest teachers, where at that age, in teenage, you're not in that state of mind, or you're not looking for the same things that you look for a decade down the lane or something. He told me to write down on a piece of paper this mantra called Koham. And Koham means who am I? And told me to take a printout of it and put it right in front of me, like in front of my bed, so that every morning when I wake up, I look at it. And at that time, and this is a story I share in the book also, every recipe has, where is it coming for me? So, at that time, it was like, I know I am Hindu. Like, what am I asking? Who am I? It did not make sense to me. That's how far my thinking could go. I'm like, this just doesn't make sense. But just like when you stick with something, even though you don't understand completely yet, over time it seasons. And there is this mantra, this phrase, Koham, comes from this, Deham Naham, Koham Soham. I'm sure many of those who are watching right now, you're aware of the mantra Soham. It's very popular, common, which means I am that. But that is the whole phrase, Deham Naham. I am not this body. Deham means the body. Naham, not. Koham, then who am I? Soham, I am that. So even those times when you look into the mirror, when we look into the mirror and there is a question mark because we spotted a gray hair, because we spotted a freckle, because we spotted a wrinkle, or our skin looks a little bit dry or saggy, in that moment, maybe we can plant along with that question mark this reminder. And the times when we really want to do something about it, because we can do something about it, the beauty of it is you can take care of your body in a philosophical way by giving it that anchor point, but you can also take care of it in a very tangible way. And this recipe that Abby, you're pointing out, this is a recipe my grandma introduced me to. We used to play. I don't know how many kids play with dirt and how many parents are okay with them playing with dirt and getting completely messy, but our parents were fine. And we used to go out and really mess with the dirt and come back home with the dirt on the hair, face, clothes, everywhere. So you're playing under the sun, so your skin get parched and sunburned and dry. So probiotic for the healthy skin. At that time, my grandmother's answer, everything was dairy. So you use milk as cleanser, you use yogurt as mask, everything comes, and you use butter, freshly churned butter as moisturizer. So the bottom line of all these things, the probiotics, our skin has the skin flora, the biome, which naturally is there, but over a period of time, that layer of biome depletes. And yogurt has that natural probiotics. In fact, this is Abby, this is trending right now. In skincare, most of these skincare products these days are probiotic line. And instead of, and I'm not saying don't use that, but I'm saying you have something real in your refrigerator. You have something pure as it gets. Take that yogurt, mix it with Yogi's Glow, and you're aware of that powder, that herbal powder, which is a recipe that was passed on to be my grandmother and seasoned by my guru, and with the little knowledge that I have gained over time. So you mix that with yogurt, with Yogi's Glow powder, and apply it on the face. And you can scrub it and use it as a scrub and wash it off. And then after that, just apply a layer of yogurt for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then rinse it off. You will really be like, what is this new face I have? I'm telling you from experience, these are the recipes I've grown up. This is what I've been grown up with, and this is what I wish to share. That is why the term heritage, 100 heritage recipes, because they have been passed so innocently, so effortlessly, so casually. And in current time, these recipes are like treasures, and we need to pass them on, and we need to live this natural way where we are not harming our skin and still providing it, which can be a healthy glow.
Right. And I'm going to list when I when I post this, I will list the website so that you can purchase this. The glow is amazing. I have one upstairs, and I should have brought it down.
And here's something I would like to show that this is the Yogi's Glow, and now this is the new this is the new package of it. It's a glass container, and it comes with a booklet, so you can learn so much about it, how to use it in so many different ways.
Yeah, it's a beautiful product. It's awesome. So, all right, we've taken care of the face. Now let's break the face down a little bit. Maybe we should, I don't know where you want to go. Should we go to the ears and the eyes and maybe talk about that, and then we can talk about the mouth? You have something about the eyes that when I read it, I was like, well, duh. It made so much sense to me. It was the cotton. Yeah, so go for it.
Well, there is this section. So in this book, SOMA 100 Heritage Recipes for Self-Care, there are different sections. And these sections are solar routine, lunar routine. And then there is a section, I love to at times play with words in a way that it conveys the meaning right away. And this is a section of head over heels in love with the body. So it's really like, going from head to heels and taking care of each part of the body. It's like really paying attention, recognizing the work that our senses do, not just taking it for granted. We know that as much as I am thankful for the current technology, on the other hand, I see screens everywhere. Whether it's a fitness regimen, whether it's something, that even right now we are interacting using this screen. And it's okay. This is our mod. This is where we are. But what we don't realize is the eyes are constantly doing this job. And they're constantly, our vision is something that goes furthest. Ears have limited capacity. And I'm not saying eyes are limitless, but with these eyes, you can see the sun, moon, and the stars. Right. And on a clear day, you can actually see something which is 3 miles away. in healthy vision. So the eyes provide us so much. What are we doing to give it back? Of course, the eyes get itchy, dried, red, and watery because they are crying for attention. What are we doing to give something back? And there is these recipes that are in the book, and there are a couple of things that we need to keep in mind. One is how we lubricate the eyes, because it's dehydrating. When we are looking at the screen, we forget to blink the eyes. We literally forget, and blinking is a very important exercise. It's involuntary, but we forget it when we are gazing at the screen. So when we don't blink, the eyes become dry. We are not using the muscles much. So we need to provide lubrication to the eyes. We need to provide exercise to the eyes, and we need to provide rest to the eyes. Here is your 3 steps. So exercise, just blink your eyes. I'm not saying, and there are more exercises that I've listed in SOMA, but I'm saying can we simply just blink eyes right upon waking up, and then somewhere in the mid part of the day, somewhere in the evening, just blink the eyes 15 to 20 times. This really, it's almost like those vipers that are in front of your car shield. It's important to do that, it's important to clear that.
Right.
And so that is exercise, right. Lubricate, a very simple, and I like to keep things simple because I feel when they are simple, we can stick to them for a longer time. Ghee, clarified butter. The word ghra, ghritam comes from ghra, which means to shine. That which provides radiance, that which provides luster. In Ayurveda, the seed for fire, radiance, is eyes among the senses. And this fire can make the eyes inflamed, red, hot, tired, dry. So how do we give back that lubrication? Take those round cotton pads and apply ghee over it, just like you put butter on the toast. I'm giving this example because then they stay with us. Apply that, and then you don't need to melt it. You just lay down and put those round cotton pads over the eyes and just rest for 5 minutes. And after that, you just wipe the eyes. And this is a practice that's in Ayurveda. It's called Netra Tarpan, which is done, Tarpan means lubrication, soaking in, immersing, which is done with keeping the eyes open and the ghee, room temperature, warm, pleasant temperature ghee is poured and is held with the dough, wall of dough. But what can we do on an everyday basis? Cotton pad, ghee, keep it over the eyes, lay down for 5 minutes, just relax, wipe off, blink your eyes, and you have lubricated them. That's it. And rest. Now, rest. We can only give importance to rest when we think rest is important. If we don't think rest is important, we are not going to give rest to our bodies, because at present, our society has somehow given value. We all, I'm not saying society as something outside. We all, including myself, we have somehow given importance to multitasking. We have somehow given importance to doing more. So more quality than quantity. And that recalibration back to quality, back to one thing at a time, and the value of rest. That can only happen when we pause and think about it. So give rest to your eyes. And that does not mean just pass out on the bed because you cannot work anymore.
I know we've all been there at least once, right?
Or more, it's something, see, this is something, that is why it is self-assessment. We're not answerable to anyone else. When we are going to experience pain or ache or popping and cracking in the joints or itching or numbing, it's only us who can experience it. So that self-assessment is only for us. Yeah. And ears, again, lubricate, give rest. I mean, we are constantly listening, even in our sleep. We are ears, when we are sleeping, the eyes are resting, but ears, they're constantly functioning. The taste buds function when we eat something. The skin functions when it feels a touch of something that it feels outside, something from outside. But ears, they're constantly working. So what are we doing to take care of that? And in the book, there are specific recipes, tangible recipes, which are really good, because ears, among the sensory organs, is the seat of vata, air element and ether element. So it tends to get dry, and some people experience this ringing sound or clicking sound or buzzing sound. What can you do for it? And there is a simple recipe of oiling that is in the book. And the other is, there is care at two spectrums, something that you can do tangibly for the corporeal body, and something that we must do by thinking, by contemplation, by self-inquiry, by pulling back, which in yoga is called pratyahar, retracting back, and a philosophical concept, and which is there as a recipe. So this is not just a book of recipes that you go and cook in the kitchen. This is practices, rituals, remedies, and recipes. So there is this practice called maunga, which means the act of conscious silence, the act of conscious pulling back. And what a gift it is for our sensory organs, and especially for the ears, that we give maybe 4 hours, maybe a day, every 15 days, where we consciously design our immediate environment, where we don't read, where we don't write, where we don't listen, where there is no interaction. Just stay. Let the system reboot. How many tabs are open? How many tabs are open in the ears, in the eyes, in the nostril? I think our system sometimes goes crazy.
Yeah. I know, yes. There's no doubt about it. All right, so the eyes, I do want to just mention that when you do use the ghee in the eyes, I do want to just let you all know that you may have a little bit of a blurry vision right immediately after. So don't be concerned. Oh my goodness, what's happening? That goes away. So just keep blinking, and it all clears, and it's just, there's a shininess to your eyes that's really quite amazing. So there are some beautiful other things that we can do, the recipes that are in the book that have to do with all the face masks, saffron one, Upton body scrub, which is really, really fun. The other thing that I feel is sometimes really neglected by us are our most divine feet. And you have something called soft heels in the book, which is, I think, recipe number 91. And it just totally, I was like, oh, I have to do this immediately. Because for those of us that teach, for us that have studios that are still open where we can still teach, we're on the floor all the time with our bare feet. And I don't know about you, but mine get filthy dirty and very cracked and really pretty awful. And I was like, oh, wow, all right, I'm going to do this. So maybe we can address the feet, because I feel that they're so important. I massage my feet, and it's just, I feel as if the whole body is receiving the touch. It's so gorgeous.
It is, our feet hold the entire body throughout the day. They are really holding ourselves throughout the day. And through the feet, through the nerve endings, we can actually access all the internal organs. And through the skin, the 7 layers of the skin on the foot sole, we can actually access all the 7 tissues. And through the marma point, which is in the center of the foot sole, we can access the most important function of our body, that is digestion. So you are absolutely right in understanding and in having that idea that through the feet, when you massage the feet, you feel that you're giving care to the entire body. And yes, there are a couple of things that you can do. And you're talking about the recipe, which is the baby soft heels. And this is a recipe that comes from my yoga guru, Shashi Khosla. And she shared it with me when I was living with her. And I think I was in early 20s at that time, around 20, yeah. And she used to prepare this mixture with glycerine, vegetable glycerine, with rose water, with lime and honey. And this is a mixture you can read about the ratios in the book. I'm not going into the ratios right now, but I want to talk about these ingredients. Vegetable glycerine, it has this natural inner heat, and that helps it becomes a really great yoga vahi, which means a carrier, to take the ingredients into the deepest layers. And it has this deeply moisturizing property. And rose water is anti-inflammatory, cooling, calming. And honey is deeply moisturizing. And lime is cleansing. It cuts through the dirt that you're talking about. So when you mix this and when you make this mixture, first of all, it has a healthy shelf life. You can prepare it and keep it in the refrigerator. So you don't have to prepare it every day, and you don't need to add any preservatives because of honey, because of glycerine, it naturally preserves. And you're not adding any water. So when you prepare this mixture and apply it on your heels and massage it, and afterwards, in winter, you can wear socks, but otherwise, if you want, you can wipe it off. It just, the glycerine and the lime, that's perfect, gentle exfoliant. So all that dry skin that is there, that tends to build up, it naturally cleanses it very gently, like really following the rules of ahimsa. It gently slows that off. And honey, it seals off the moisture. So it's a really, really simple way to take care of your heels and also to massage it. And when you massage the entire foot sole, not just the heel. And when you massage it to the point where this is a tip that my teacher gave, that when you massage glycerine and something with glycerine on your foot sole, like this mixture, keep massaging it till you feel a little bit almost like sweat. The foot sole breaks into sweat. That is the time when your skin has the healthy appetite to absorb it, and there is an exchange of energy. Because oftentimes, we want to hang on to how many minutes, or we want to hang on to how many strokes. But listen to your body. Instead of hanging on to how many minutes and how many strokes, pay attention to what your body is saying, because it is saying something. So that's a special tip. That keep applying it till the skin kind of breaks into a sweat. So it's almost like the body, there is that exchange that has happened. And the other thing that's coming to my mind is massaging it using marma stick. Now I don't have it right now to show it to you, but it's a wooden stick. Oh, you have it with spikes and these the spirals. You massage it under the foot sole. This is really good to give rest, not just to the foot soles, but if someone experiences restless legs, tired legs, achy legs, it really calms down the entire nervous system and prepares you for sleep. It's a great lunar ritual. It's a great bedtime ritual.
Beautiful. So our last question is always asking the person who has been kind enough to be on Jivamaya Yoga Wisdom Talks, are there any final words of wisdom? Before I do that, though, I will tell you that there is one recipe in the book, one food recipe that can be prepared in the kitchen, and you're going to have to buy SOMA in order to find out what it is. But it has to do with some really amazing men in India, and they are called chaiwalas. Mm-hmm. And if you want to taste that chai, and I'm thinking of my dear friend Jacqueline, and I hope you're watching, because she and I would find every chaiwala that we could possibly find. We should do a competition in India. Who is the best chaiwala? But this chai recipe that Indu shares with us is so beautiful and so incredible. And I did make it, so I absolutely know it is genuine. So please, please get this ebook. It's just, you'll have so much fun with it. The excitement and the energy and the joy that Indu just expresses through it's exquisite. You'll love it. That said, are there any
yes, you will get to know the stories behind these heritage recipes. And yes, the chai recipe It's not just one single concoction or syrup. It changes with seasons, and it is just, I still remember, you know, and I've written this story, I've talked about this story in the book. I remember right now, I remember my father's face with his, you know, with his glasses hanging up to his nose and looking from here and saying that my mother, he used to call her lovingly Rani, which means queen, you know, and, you know, saying that to the queen, go and make chai. Something wrong. But anyways, you know, but, you know, he would call her lovingly queen and say that, my throat is a little bit scratchy today, Rani. Can you make black pepper chai? You know, kali mirch wali chai. So, you know, it changes. Chai is medicine. There is, you drink chai when you're tired. You drink chai because it's not because you're tired, but you want to be more full of energy. You have chai because there is guests. You have chai because it's raining. You have chai because it's snowing. You have chai because it's too hot outside. It's just, there is all possible reasons for chai, and what you add in it changes based on your mood. So that's why there's a couple of food recipes in there. But yes, I could not stop myself from including the authentic chai recipe, because it is far from a syrupy concoction that you buy. It's something we make every day, fresh.
It is. Yeah. And we're all so blessed to have this. We really are. Are there any words you would like to share with us? It can be about aging. It can be about something that's just popped into your head. It can be about the end of this rather remarkable year. It can be about anything you want to say.
Kindness. It's important. This is a very important thing that we must remember. We get angry at seasons. We get angry on our skin, on our hairs, on our memory, on our digestion. We get angry at our neighbor. We get angry. Can we remind ourselves to be kind? That is the best antidote to aging, because that brings out feelings of anger and disgust and fear. And that brings out all these tension lines, not just on the face, but in our body, affects our digestion, immunity, everything. But the moment you think of kindness, it's almost there is some crease that has ironed itself. There is some knot that becomes released. There is that pleasantness, like SOMA. There is that lunar energy that flows through us. So be kind to yourself and be kind to the seasons. Accept them as they are flowing. There is a gift in that. There is a value in that. So that's all I have to say. And I so appreciate this time with you, Abby, and all that you do, these conversations. And yes, third conversation with you. It's beautiful. And it's also, I am not seeing you right now, the viewers, but it's so nice to connect with you. And I really hope any minute that you have used, any ounce of energy that you've used to watch it, to understand it, may it benefit you. May it not go waste.
Thank you. Awesome. So we say goodbye to Indu temporarily. She'll be back next year for sure. And next week we have actually a dear friend of Indu's, Sweta Vikram, who is a very accomplished and well-known international author. And it's very difficult to really tell you how incredible my conversation with her was when I was able to catch her. She was walking on the street in Queens with her phone as we were chatting about her being able to join us and talk on Jivamaya. So I do hope you'll be able to join us next week. Sweta is really a very, very remarkable woman, and I really look forward to our dialogue together. We will be following that with Larry Payne, who was if you read my post over the weekend, he was the guest speaker. Surprise. The surprise was that I hadn't yet gotten a confirmation from him, but I now have the confirmation. So Larry will be joining us. And if you don't know of Larry, Larry is the founder of the International Association of Yoga Therapy. He's been in the yoga world for so many years, teaches at LMU, has a ton of books out. He's just incredible and his experiences are phenomenal. So we will welcome him on that third Wednesday. But right now, Indu, thank you so much. Thank you for everything that you've contributed to all of us throughout. We're just so happy that you're here with us. And I hope you have a really awesome, awesome holiday, and our very best to go as well. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. I will be uploading as fast as I can when this is over, and you can find it on the Facebook. I'll give you that link, all right? Thank you so much, everybody. Be well. See you next week.